to enjoy nature, which is very important to the body, because the body is actually a part of nature. The body is made by God, or life, like nature was, the flowers and the trees, the sky and the wind. The body consists of all those elements. And all those elements, all of nature that we see as the blessed earth, is a manifestation of me inside. And that's the purity and innocence manifested, which we love so much. And sometimes we could even say, when there's something beautiful in nature, that's me. And that would be the truth, because the body has immediate correspondence with me. And the body is fulfilled by being in nature, by admiring nature, by looking at a bee and a flower, by looking at the wind and the rain. The body is somehow nourished by looking at that, and the sea, and being in the sea and being in the rain. It is nourished by that, because that's its element, is nature. And that pleases me then. And me and the body are in right correspondence. But what has happened is that something has come between me and my body. And I'm talking about that body there. So let's think that there's somebody else. And the thing that stops the body from having immediate correspondence with me is myself. And myself lies just inside my body, but above me, and therefore cuts my body off from me when myself is active. Now, for most of my life, myself is not really active. For most of my life, I'm just doing my work, or I'm walking around, and really myself is not active. So I don't spend a great deal of my life in myself. I spend most of my life in my body, which is right. But this self is so powerful that the only thing I can really remember, and really continue to remember, is myself. And myself consists of time, and my body is more timeless than myself. So when I'm in my body, and I am enjoying being and being my body, there's a certain timelessness about it. And I'm not aware of time, but when I'm in myself, and myself is active, I'm aware of time. It drags, it's burdensome, I'm not happy, and then myself gets moody and all jealous and resentful and angry and self-doubting. Start doubting myself, which is the self's tricky way of asserting itself, is self-doubt. And so it keeps itself alive by self-doubt, and it's just in there. And so that self stops me, my intelligence, as the intelligence is the correspondence between the body and me. The intelligence is immediately between the two. And myself and my feelings and painful feelings about myself cut off this immediate intelligence, and it becomes rather turgid. So when I've got myself, of course I'm still intelligent while I've got my resentments or angers or self-doubt. I'm still intelligent, but you notice how slow it is, how wearisome it is, how boring it is, and or how you want to just, oh dear, what's this? What's going on? You know, there's a sense of time, dragging time. So the idea is, as much as possible, is to rid myself of that self. And the best way to start is really to start with my body. To not allow yourself to seduce you into thinking about yourself. Now, every thought will end up being about yourself and your problems. You'll never be able to think for long about the good times or something else, it won't be long before you'll get onto a problem, because the self is very cunning. And you can think it's going to think about the good times, but what it wants to do is get onto the problem, the bad time, because that stirs the emotion. And when it stirs the emotion, the self then feels itself much more than if it just thinks. Self doesn't just like to think. It likes to stir the emotion, which is the substance of itself. And then it gets a good grip on your intelligence, and you can't get your intelligence away from yourself. So it's very difficult then to get it, in the times when your self is active, very difficult to get the intelligence on the fineness of me. And because you can't get in the fineness of me, and you're in the coarseness of yourself, you can't see nature. No matter if you're seeing nature with your eyes, you can't really be nourished by it, because you're too busy being nourished by your selfishness or self. So you see, it cuts us off from that which we are, the wonder of nature, of which we are an element, or we contain all the elements of nature. That's why it's so important to start with being yourself. Or not being yourself, being your body, being in your senses. Now, if you live in your senses, you don't have to make half the decisions that you're making in your life. You're making a lot of unnecessary decisions because many of the decisions you make are in your thinking process, and your thinking process is not in the actual practical reality. So you can think you've made a decision, and having gone to a lot of trouble to reach that decision by thinking, when the time comes, you don't do what you decided, or it doesn't happen. And you've wasted all that time thinking about it, and it doesn't manifest. That is the world, what I call the dark or intermediate world that earthlings live in. I say that if you come over and live in your senses, you don't have to make all those decisions. You don't have to consider things. It just works like that. It's like what I used to describe as people have got to come over from what is called direct current, which is an electrical term, like direct current is a torch battery where you just push the button, the power is in the battery, and it goes straight through direct into light and creates a light, and you can see. That's a very fundamental electrical current, direct current. But what we've got to do is to come over to alternating current. That's called AC current. And it's AC current that's able to communicate, to send signals out to the furthest star. You've got to use alternating current, because direct current just won't do it. It hasn't got the power. So that's an analogy of what we've got to do to get over to the body, because we're used to using direct current. And direct current is so obvious, you just push the button and there you can see the light, and it doesn't go that far, but at least you can do it immediately. It's like thinking, being yourself and making decisions of yourself. But behind that is this extraordinary intelligence of being the body. And as I say, to be the body, you then connect yourself with the supreme intelligence, because the body is only the outside manifestation of the supreme intelligence, which you've heard me speak about as the cone of intelligence that starts with this little body there and goes way down to the point of eternity. That is why it is possible for each one of you to realize a greater truth at any time, to realize God, to realize even eternity at any time, because inside your body is this cone of intelligence that goes right down, narrowing all the time, because it gets faster and swifter. The intelligence gets faster and swifter until it reaches the point of eternity, where everything is already done before it starts. Means there's no time there. It's absolutely timeless, because what is proposed is already done. Now, as you get up here, what is proposed is is nearly done at the same time. And as you get up here, what is proposed is further away from its manifestation. And as you get up here to the external world, which the physical body represents, what is proposed takes a heck of a long time to be done, because there's all this space between, and it's very, very slow and turgid. And that's where the human race generally operates from direct current. That looks like that, so therefore this is my reaction, I must do that. That's happening there, so I judge that on my past experience, and so I react like that. This is direct current. It's not the truth, because everything happening is not as it appears. So when I hand over to the body consciousness, I have the opportunity to draw upon all this intelligence right back to eternity, and that starts to live my life for me. And I don't have to make all those difficult and troublesome decisions, which usually lead me into more trouble anyway, and have to correct the decisions that I've already made and acted on. I don't have to do that. It's a much slower time, which means a much faster time, but not burdensome. And I've got to learn to hand over from my direct reaction to events to this very slow, which means intelligently fast, consciousness, which waits and is prepared to hand over. And so when you read in the Bible, for instance, St. Paul's statement, I live, but not I, Christ liveth in me, means, well, certainly my forward awareness, which registers existence, I certainly am here, my awareness. But I have made contact and have handed over to the great intelligence inside my body, and that intelligence lives through me, my little I. And my little I does not make any resistance to that which I have handed over to. So that's what the statement means, put in intelligent terms, and not the way it's said. I live, but Christ liveth in me. What the hell does that mean? What does Christ mean? It's just an imaginative term. Christ is God, and God is life, and life is intelligent, and we're talking intelligence. So intelligence liveth in me, lives my life, but it's the intelligence of my body that keeps my heart beating. So therefore, when I live this way, I will never have any fear of death again. Because how could I? Because the intelligence that I've handed over to, that I am, is the thing that keeps my heart beating. It's the thing that keeps my body alive. For as soon as it decides, boom, to withdraw in any way, my body, one of my organs or anything, will start to get sick. But if I am that very intelligence I've handed over to it, I know that its wisdom and its intelligence is infinite, and I've handed over to it. And so I can never fear death, because it is the arbiter of death. See, that's what fear, getting rid of the fear of death is. So many people will say from their direct consciousness, this direct thing, well, I'm not afraid of death. Well, I don't take much notice of that until you're facing death. When you're facing death, then I'll hear what you've got to say, not when you're imagining what death's like. But if you have handed over, or to the degree that you've handed over, to this extraordinary intelligence, to that degree will you not be afraid of death. And it is the fear of death that makes everybody restless and unhappy. That's the fundamental fear of death. So, you give up reacting to things as you see them. You give up getting immediately angry about something that doesn't go your way. That's direct current. You examine, why am I angry? The mind, of course, will justify why you're angry. but you will watch the cunning of your mind, because there's no justification whatever for anger. It just means that you're crossed. Your selfish desire to do something your way is crossed. So you get cross, and crossness turns to anger. Now, if you are crossed in a desire and you can't do something, then it means one of two things. Either it is not aligned with the divine will, which is the intelligence of your body, or you are reacting to something. You are reacting to someone else's desire. You cannot get angry. You cannot get angry about anything if you are straight and true and look at the fact. You have to be able to have your selfish desire, which is any desire, crossed. And the proof of whether it's selfish or not is that you don't get angry. If you don't get angry, then you're not attached to your selfish desire, and it's no longer selfish. Selfishness is attachment, and attachment creates anger. So you can have a desire to do something, and it's cancelled at the last moment, and you give up any disappointment or unhappiness. Then your desire to do it was not selfish, although it was motivated by your very existence, and you wanted to do it, and it couldn't be done, and you didn't get angry. It wasn't selfishness at all. It was just part of your existence. And the more you don't get angry, of course, you won't be attempting things that you can't do. Yeah, the other thing that I was mentioning, that when you get angry, you're trying to do the impossible. You know, you're trying to look beautiful, what you think is beautiful, if you're not beautiful. You know, that's a very frustrating thing. If someone thinks, looking in the mirror, that they themselves are not beautiful, and they want to be beautiful and try to make themselves beautiful, well, they're going to get very cross in a frustrated sort of way. And they're not going to accept themselves as they are. Now one of the keys to not getting angry or getting frustrated or getting into competition with others is to be what you are, to accept yourself as you are now. Now, if you accept yourself as you are now, I'll tell you what you are. You're nothing. You know, like now. What are you? Nothing. Nothing arising. Just nothing. Well, sure, you've got a body, but everything's okay in the body, and yourself is not active unless it is. So then you're me. And me is nothing. It's just a state of nothing arising. So in those moments where you really become me, you're likely to say, or your mind's likely to say, I don't know what I am, and be confused by it. But there's no need to be confused by it, because that's the truth. You'll never know what you are. Well, sometimes you can say, oh, I am love, or I'm beauty or something, but that's only a passing thing, because overall you're nothing, because those states are nothing. It's only when we're something that we suffer. And when we think we're something or feel we're something, we really suffer. Because when you feel you're something, I tell you now, you'll be feeling that you're unhappy, resentful, angry, jealous, hard done by, missing out, all those negative things. That's when you feel you're something. You won't feel when you're joy, when you're love, you won't feel anything. You'll have a knowledge of love, but you won't feel love. See, people fall in love and they feel love, but they really feel the relief of their self. They feel their self, but the relief of their self, because love eases the burden, but only for a while. Because while ever love continues to be a feeling, it will always turn into a feeling of unhappiness. The whole world, as you know, has been taught that love is a feeling. The whole world. All your teachers think that love's a feeling. Your parents, everyone on earth thinks that love's a feeling. And I tell you, love is not a feeling. Every feeling turns to unhappiness. And love never has turned to unhappiness and never will. Love is just love. So, to live in the body, to be immortal, to be eternal, and they're two different states, immortal and eternal, you have to, as much as possible, know yourself. Because yourself is the only thing between the body and me. And me goes back to the point of eternity, so it's pretty powerful and potent stuff as intelligence. But the self dilutes it, offers a resistance. So I've got to get rid of myself as much as possible. And that means knowing myself. Now you can't have any feeling where I come from that is good, that won't turn to pain. But you've got to see that in your experience. So you shouldn't have any feelings in you now. Unless you're disturbed by yourself, then you'll have a feeling of disturbance. But really your natural state is nothing arising. Nothing arising. Nothing. Except the senses and the knowledge that it is good to be alive. That knowledge that it's good to be alive is not knowing that you're alive or knowing that it's good to be alive, because that's the thinker. Knowledge has no thought in it. Knowledge is just a state of knowledge. And so you can be in your senses, you can have the knowledge that you love someone. You can have that knowledge because love of someone is always inside the body, that's where it's registered. But there's no need to image it, to imagine it, because love is there. So you can be in your senses and you're where you are. And should it be needed for you to know that you love somebody, or to have the knowledge that you know somebody, it will rise in you. I love. And then it will be gone. See, the body is moment to moment. It's not something that hangs on to things. It's an intelligence that lets go every moment. Otherwise it gets trapped on time. You know, the stream of time is moving every second. Every second. Every second. That second that was has moved down the stream of time. And if the body is a product of the timeless me, and so the body is very happy to remain in the timeless, letting go of everything, every moment, because that's the natural state of things. But if myself makes my body hang on to things, which it does, because the self loves to hang on to who I know, what I've been, what I want to be, the self hangs on to that, then the body gets disturbed and it gets unhappy and its health and everything deteriorates. But I have to learn to let everything go down the stream of time. And one of the ways of doing that is not believing anything. I trust you're following me. I'm going down some sort of zigzaggy ladder here, but it doesn't matter, does it? Not to believe anything, you know. Now that's a very tricky one, because to live in the moment you can't believe anything. You can't believe anything to live in the moment. And the body lives in the moment. So the body doesn't believe anything because it doesn't have to believe anything. It lets go every moment. And myself, when it believes something, it stops on something, it registers it, holds it in the memory and believes in it, and that interrupts the flow of time, the right flow of time down the stream of time, every moment passing. So